welcome to a 1v1 cast of Chosen versus Tag Rock. Yes, this is quite an old cast, and yes, I did cast this about 2 days ago, but unfortunately something's going wrong with YouTube and it's unable to get live casted, so it's getting casted again. Obviously, if I miss a few things out, please let me know. Obviously, I'm not perfect, I can't remember everything I said last time, but let's have another go at this. As we can see, this is Eye of the Storm, one of the most pain in the ass 1v1 maps there is in and around, because we have two. Well, we have Chosen, that is currently on, and river maps, sea maps, and little ponds of puddles and everything else these days do actually rely on puddles quite a lot, especially the end, because they hover all over the little baggots and faggots of all of them anyway. So basically, as we start actually going into the detail, we have a look at Tag Rock. So Tag Rock is one of the pro players from the good old days of GVGNet. Yes, GVGNet doesn't exist. Yes, C-Pilot was one of the noobs on GVG, but here we go. He rebuilt FAF from scratch. Obviously, it's been through beta. It's now full storm wind ahead. As we can clearly see, Rock is Cybran, and he's going for the light blue colour. Obviously, he's got no choice in the matter whatsoever. A standard build by Tag Rock on Eye of the Storm, wants to go and try and get early air domination. He's also got a T1 engineer, which actually has sucked up one of the little few points on this map that actually has quite a bit of mass, like this little bastard here. As you can clearly see, this little thing, the one with 3 lights that looks like Chosen's face, but hey ho, we won't go into that in much detail this match. We can see that obviously Rock wants to get early domination of all sides of the map, but Chosen's got other ideas. As we can see, he's got a T1 Land Scout, and he's also got an Aurora heading straight to the base of Rock. Obviously, he's going to try and position them on the sea to stop any naval factories from being able to be built by Tag Rock, therefore giving Rock the advantage in the sea, as Cybran do have acquired a big advantage in sea. As we have a look at Chosen's base, obviously Chosen is Aeon. He's gone for purple because I think he is feminine, so this suits him perfectly. He's going to sit pretty much for the same build that Tag Rock did. A land factory, quite a few power generators, 4 normal mexes and interceptors, so a normal standard build, but he's got 2 engineers building a hydrocarbon power plant, radar and 2 land factories to support his advantage down the right. Chosen has already reclaimed the rocks in this little area right here. Obviously this is haven for, well, reclaiming. As we have a look over in one of the other maps, there we go, you can see we've got 3 rocks and 2 mass extractors. It's the same for all around the map, on there and there. Obviously, whoever gets them first and spends them correctly will be able to do quite a lot of it correctly. Well, let's have a look at what's going on. We've got obviously T1 bomber. Rock hits Auroras, so he's got his bomber ready to kill Auroras. That simple. And he hits Auroras. He pretty much hits all of Aeon. But we won't dwell on that point. As we can see, Rock's also going to try and build a strategy from the top right hand side of the map. Reclaim the 3 rocks, get the 2 mass extractors and get a factory up. As we have a look at this ugly piece of shit. Where's he gone on the screen? Where's it gone? There it is. That ugly piece of shit. Stupid fucking machine. As we have a look, that ugly piece of shit is what we call a Mantis. The T1 Cybran Assault Bot. Obviously it's got 4 legs. Kill 1 leg, it's disabled, but you can't kill 1 leg in Supreme Commander. You've got to kill the whole thing. So as we have a look, oh, there we go, we've got Chosen getting a naval factory up and producing engineers out of it. like every other normal factory in the sea that everyone else produces? I think not, but Rock has got the correct idea. Build a land factory, build a sea factory, get frigates and subs. Don't get engineers, because you've got land factories and air factories to do that. As we can clearly see in Rock's main base, he's got 3 air factories going up. He's getting more power because if we have a look at his overall income and expenditure, he's losing about 50 power a second, and he's pretty much breaking even on mass at the moment. But we can clearly see he's got some little yellow dots in the sea. If we go to the observer mode, we'll find out what they are. They are auroras, and it's a scout. So obviously, Rock sees them. Rock knows all about them, and he's got a frigate to go and kill him. So obviously, frigate will make light work of an aurora, and he's also got a T1 transport heading all the way over to the right hand side. So obviously, Rock wants to cement his position in this base, so Chosen can quickly come at it with the outer range auroras and overpowered auroras from anywhere known to man. He's also got a T1 scout, so he knows exactly what Chosen's doing down the bottom left hand corner. He's also got one firmly placed in the other bottom left hand corner of the map. So at the moment, map control is 50-50. Unfortunately, Chosen managed to get his aurora and his scout around the hill and into Rock's base. But as we see in the little background, we've got a mantis. So obviously the scout sees a mantis, the mountain sees a scout, and the mantis just goes to the scout and says, I want you for dinner, I'm meeting you, and I've got you. As we have a look at the current assault, 1 aurora versus 2 mantises. Not much way too effective for the mantises. That's why they're overpowered. As we have a look down here, we've got a T1 gunship currently hitting the T1 engineer, and he wants to go and kill a radar, so he can't see if any more reinforcements are coming inbound. As we have a look, obviously, 1 gunship, no air from Chosen. Bad idea by Chosen. He's got no defense against that gunship. It's gonna wreak havoc around that base. So Chosen loses another 4 mass a second. So, oh well, he'll gain that back eventually because they are pros and they know all the cons and all the pros of every single unit in the game. Yeah, they don't really, but they think they do. As we have a look in the top right hand side base, that is Rock's number 2 base, we shall call it. He's got a point defense shielded by walls, and walls with shields and point defenses equals overpoweredness and can't be hit by anything apart from artillery. As we can clearly see, we've also got a small attack force that's about to get wiped out like chickens in a farm, and all the chickens are now killed. That didn't take long. But in the middle, Chosen's doing a sneaky attack. I've got an engineer in the middle, but what's that in the background? What's that ugly thing? Oh, it's a T1 transporter. I wonder what that's carrying. If we have a look when he drops it right next to that engineer, it's not going to survive this attack. Boom, and it's dead. 5 mantises, takes it out before they're even finished on the ground. Oh well, there's another 8 mass a second all the way to Rock in this early advantage of the game. Oh, what's this I see in the river? It's a submarine. So Chosen's decided to go straight for T2, completely miss out T1, because Aeon and T1 are shite. There's no other way to put it, they are shite. But when they get the T2, the underground submarines are some of the best in the game. Obviously Cybran are quite decent, but Aeon just kill everything else, unless because they're overpowered. As we have a look elsewhere in the map, Rock is starting to push down that right hand side. He's got that base firmly cemented now. He's also got a radar, and he's also got a sonar. So if we have a look at what Chosen's got planned so far, Chosen's currently got 18 engineers heavily assisting the T2 HQ land sea factory, and yes, in this game the land factories have changed. We do now implement the HQ factory building. HQ basically means you're going to be spending another 600 mass on a building which you put it firmly in your base, so it can't be destroyed. If it gets destroyed and you've got other factories that are T2, land, sea or air, you'll no longer be able to produce any of them units. So that's pretty much the advantage of having that. But other than that, we'll just have a look at this nice submarine fight we got. That submarine has lost half its health. And the destroyer is up, so Aeon do have quite a bit overpowered destroyers, because Aeon destroyers don't actually use torpedoes, believe it or not. They use depth charges, and depth charges bypass all torpedo defense. You can't stop a depth charge, you can only stop torpedoes. As we can see, Tag Rock is repairing his submarines, because they really need repairing. It's in low health and it needs it to combatant the T2 submarine, which is still currently on 800 health, so that's half health. But we do have an assault going down the right hand side of the map. It's Tag Rock's Mantises versus the overpowered Aeon Auroras, which can hover, die, do whatever the hell they want because they can outrange any other unit. That is T1. The only successful quick thing to kill Auroras is the UEF gun upgrade. The UEF gun upgrade does 200 damage a shot, kills Auroras in one shot, and it also has just the equal amount of range that the Aurora does as well. So pretty much this is gonna be quite a decent game, as we can clearly see. Obviously, there goes the sonar. As you can see, some nice little animation going on there once that sonar's down. Because Auroras are the worst set of units in the world, as you can clearly see. But pretty much, that T2 destroyer is currently homing in on the T2C factory. But clearly, he's aiming at the wrong place, because he should be aiming at the engineers, and he clearly ain't. So that's quite a big fail on a pro basis, but there's not really much that that can really do apart from shoot, and shoot even more. So we can clearly see we've got depth charges in the water. It's hunting, and it killed the submarine because there's another depth charge in the water to kill that submarine. Oh, look, there it goes. Boom! It's got another one coming in. Boom! There's the submarine. It's really getting hammered, that T2 sub. He's got another one. So that depth charge does 300 damage, and say bye-bye to that T2 Barracuda because it's been toast. As we have a look in the middle of the map, we've got a small Aurora fight mixed with 4 Mantises. Now down to 3, now down to 1 because they're overpowered. As we can clearly see, Chosen decided to send some AA units down the top right hand corner, therefore giving Tag Rock quite a little mass boost. But pretty much it's even Stevens at this moment in time. We've got a little attack going down the left hand side. As we have a look, so obviously Tag Rock is now got a gunship assault in progress, and he's got it, and he's kind of protected via interceptors. Yep, he's got them protected quite well. Oh, there we go. We've got Mantises currently protecting his ACU, I do believe that is. No, he's protecting his mass extractor, which is now currently T2. But we have got a small set of Auroras coming to assault the top right hand corner. But the scout that Rock had on the bottom left hand corner is now being killed by Chosen's ACU itself. He's now building a land factory because he's already got one in there in place, ready to kill it. But Tag Rock does have sufficient T1 gunships to be able to cause some damage anywhere they need to be. So that's quite a big point for Tag Rock. We've also got Chosen, still got destroyers coming into play on the top right hand corner. As we can clearly see, we've got a T2 destroyer of Chosen, so he's built another one. He's building them quite slowly at the moment in time. So if we have a look at the overall map consistency, it's pretty 50-50. Both on the same but similar mass income. Tag Rock is losing. Tag Rock has 3 less mass than what Chosen does, because Chosen with his Auroras actually did very large amount of damage. But what's this? Wait, at the bottom left hand corner, Tag Rock is evening out the score. He's killed the 4 mexes in the bottom corner, and now he's going after the land factories. So this is not going to be quite a good idea for Tag Rock. Obviously, having a gunship killed by the point defense is never a good idea, because you say bye-bye to point defense. But we do have Auroras getting built. We've got 2 engineers on attack reclaim. Obviously, it reclaims anything within that attack area. As we have, if we have a look on the bottom right hand corner, just a bit further right of his base, we can see he's getting mobile land incoming to try and help kill the gunships. Obviously, the gunships are in high retreat now because they don't really want to die versus them land air. But that's not much, as we can clearly see. Chosen's destroyer's having a bit of a bad day because he can't seem to hit this lonely mantis that just killed his mass extractor. And Tag Rock is having another bad day, it seems, because he's just getting Auroras. The Auroras are just completely picking off at the mantises that are standing there, looking so goalless, looking stupid, not having a bloody clue what they're doing because Tag Rock is too busy trying to concentrate elsewhere. But what's this? We've got 4 Barracudas incoming to kill a T2 destroyer. Oh look, we've also got 4 Auroras on the outskirts of Tag Rock's base. Huh, we've got a point defense as well. It sees the Auroras, it's shooting, and it's doing the damage. 4 are down, and that's a 4th. Oh, but the destroyer had to come into that. Destroyer is now in play, and there goes the point defense, leaving the assault for Chosen's units to do it exactly how they wanted to do. But wait, what's this? We've got T2 destroyers from Tag Rock. Oh, now this is going to get interesting. Cybran do have the advantage in range in sea. If Tag Rock can get it perfectly done, the range in sea will really hurt Chosen's destroyers. But Chosen is aware of the T1 gunships, and he's got the ugly cruiser out into play. See, it's a nice little cruiser. Not much to it. A load of little stupid lights on the boat, but pretty much quite decent. So at the 18-minute stage, we have a 50-50 game. We've got Tag Rock securing the top half of the map, and we've got Chosen securing the bottom half of the map. So, we've got Tag Rock does have the middle, but that's not really beneficial at the moment because he's only getting +6 mass income, when he really should be getting about 8, because he needs this mass extractor built. Clearly, Chosen's not really interested in the game at the moment, because as this you was at the bottom left hand corner. But wait, Chosen's walking back to his base. He's now upgrading another T1 land factory, but he's the catch. He's not getting a HQ, he's getting a normal C factory, because he doesn't really want to pay the extra 800 mass in the Aeon's case for a HQ over the 500 mass for a normal T2C, the normal T2C factory. So pretty much chosen going for the I'm conserving mass option, and I want to try and kill you as fast as I can. Obviously, Chosen has got quite a few gunships up, so obviously his air factory is actually T2, because them ugly things are going to start causing serious havoc around. Chosen does have T2 air as well, so obviously he's going to try and protect the little small assault of air and artillery. Well, one artillery and the rest of air. Not really reinforced that, has he? If we have a look at the bottom right hand corner, we've also got cruisers and destroyers along with a stealth boat. So Chosen can't actually see where his C units are, but because of that stealth unit, as you can clearly see, that is where Rock has his units. Can't see them on the radar. Can see everything else, but can't see them. But here they are. Oh look, I can see him now. Because his destroyers are currently out of range of his stealth boat. Which is really, really stupid idea. But, yay-ho, he's doing the job. But Chosen knows what he's up to. He's got 3 destroyers waiting to pounce on the Sirens. Look at him shooting them willy-nilly, free firing, depth charges in the water, everything going to plan. But here comes the funny part. He's got torpedo bombers. So torpedo bombers will start bombing whatever they want to bomb. Here we are. Torpedo bombers are in flight. Let's have a look where they're off to. They're going for the cruiser. So torpedo bombers are going straight for the Siren cruiser, which is down to half health. Oh, look, here they come. One's down of the cruisers. There's 2 torpedo bombers gone. Oh, depth charges are in the water. Not really much damage done there, really, is there? It's now vetted, so that cruiser's going to be hard to kill. It's got another 500 health on it. But here we go, he's the kicker of the game. The gunships have just finished it, just laid that cruiser off so it starts sinking in the water. How nice of him that, well. So now, he's got the gunships just laying land, just laying the destroyers to pieces. That's very well for, that's working into Rock's hands, into Chosen's hands pretty well. But oh dear, dear, dear. Bye bye gunships, because here comes the mass T1 Air of Tag Rock. There we go. All but one is down. It's not going to be able to do the damage, but it's done enough damage for Chosen to put his destroyers and his cruisers into harm's way, and his subs. So Chosen's more than happy to commit his units after killing the cruiser and a couple of his destroyers. But he's got he's got a second sea factory, and he's also upgrading his third. So he's going to have twice the normal build power that Rock will have. But what Rock doesn't have in factories, he has in engineers. Even though he's getting assaulted slowly by Chosen with the artillery, he does have cruisers there and he does have gunships, so they're not going to be a problem to him whatsoever. Apart from, he has just killed 5 of his mexes. Not a big iffy, easily rebuilt. But Chosen is now playing a dangerous game. I want to assault your base game, and one of his destroyers has taken slight damage. It'll be heavy damage now because he's now killed. So this is pretty much 50-50. Tag Rock isn't moving any of his destroyers into place to protect his base yet. He's just going to let the gunships do what the gunships want to do, which is lay waste to the T2 Exodia class of the Aeon out of Chosen's. Now Tagrock has realised the danger of his T2C factory, and he's now pushing his 3 destroyers and his stealth boat back to his main base. Obviously he wants to be able to counteract what Chosen's trying to do to him. So obviously Chosen's really pushing for this. If we have a look at his bottom left hand side of the map, he's got another naval factory. So obviously Chosen's now going full on advantage on a naval factory. He doesn't want Rock to even have a remote capability of being able to kill him via sea on Eye of the Storm, because obviously the ability to kill on the ability to have the sea is a huge advantage for obvious reasons, clearly. But obviously we can see another Aeon strike force of 3 Auroras shooting at a T2 engineer and failing miserably because they're getting owned by the little hill in the middle of it. Tagrock successfully defending his base and losing a cruiser against the T2 torpedoes. But in the middle, Tagrock is losing the mass advantage that he had in the middle, because he's now being assaulted by sea and air, by T2 gunships and by destroyers. Obviously he's got the air to kill that destroyer, not fast enough before it does the damage in the middle. But that's what that destroyer was there for, to make sure that the damage was done and finished in time. As we can clearly see, there goes bye-bye radar of Tagrock. So Tagrock now has officially no radar, no ability to see exactly what's happening in the sea, apart from the T2 sonar. That's it his top right hand side base. But hold on, as I say this, his sonar is now kaput. He doesn't have any advantage whatsoever. As I said that, Chosen has successfully killed a Barracuda in assaulting Tagrock's main base, because he's only got destroyers and cruisers there versus subs. Subs are actually quite good versus destroyers, and destroyers can do a bit of damage versus subs, but not enough as Barracudas. But there is a T2 destroyer that has just been laid to waste by 4 destroyers of the Cybrin. So that's quite good. So this is currently evening each other out. Obviously we've got Auroras currently assaulting the main base of the second right hand side base that Tagrock has. Don't know what the map's starting to do there, but there we go. That T2 C factory is now down. Tagrock has a number of T2 point defences in his main base, but wasn't enough to stop that T2 C naval factory from dying. Clearly, Tagrock is having a bit of sea issues. I don't know if it's because the Aeon are right at his doorstep, or is it because he's losing power? I do not know. But hey ho, this is going to be an interesting fight. We've got 3 subs versus 3 subs and a destroyer versus 4 subs and 3 destroyers. So let's have a look at what happens. Chosen is now firmly in the process of building destroyers, gunships, all at the same time. He wants more, he wants even more, because he's got a 4th one up. Not a HQ, just a normal sea factory. So he doesn't need a HQ, he's got one at his main base. Tagrock is currently building rhinos. Obviously he wants to do a nice assault down the right hand side of the map. Not a bad idea if you're not Aeon, because Aeon have destroyers. They have them everywhere in range. They also have a nice little engineer that's currently on a hill in no man's land, building all the way across the sea. Doesn't want Rock to have any chance of being able to get past it. But that's fair enough. You wouldn't want Cybrin to be able to walk straight through your base. Chosen is now capturing the middle, where he laid to waste by using a destroyer and 2 T2 gunships, which lost their lives in the fight. And the 2 engineers have lost their lives in the fight of being able to recapture them mass extractors. If you have a look over to the right hand side of the map, we've got Flak being currently harassed and surrounded by cruisers. Ooh. As we can clearly see, Chosen is moving his destroyers and cruisers through the bottom of the map all the way to try and stop the destroyer cruiser sub-attack. Obviously that'll make it easier for Chosen to assault and extinguish any hope that Tagrock has in the sea. That's what he wants to do. Pretty much this game has remained square. No one's had the upper hand, no one's had the lower hand, they've all had the attacks, they've all survived attacks and survived them. If we have a look at just the average income on both players, Chosen has got an income of 92. He's currently using double what he's got income, and he's also got quite a bit of power income, so obviously that's assisting him quite well. Let's see if he's got Raz. No, Chosen has not got Raz yet in the 30th minute of the game. But he does have 34 power generators and 2 hydrocarbon power plants. So obviously he's got enough to survive the power, and he's got a T2 power generator. So obviously he does need power. He's building the infrastructure that he needs. Tagrock on the other hand is currently got quite a bit in spare. In mass, he's got 600 spare, good enough to do whatever he needs. He's still reclaiming, so he's still getting quite a big mass boost, as you can clearly see at the top left hand side of the screen. He's got a T2 factory. There's quite a few of his mass extractors that are T1, so that's not anything noticeable. That's pretty much standard, because it's pretty much been build, 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 defend, build, C, build, defend, build, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, 50-50, and there goes destroyers trying to shoot down everything and only hitting the target once, clearly. There we go, look at them nice little shots. Position perfect shots. Just like surfing artillery, can't hit anything unless it's still. Rock has actually lured them in to the top right hand corner. Lured them perfectively. He's got 5 destroyers, 1 cruiser and 3 submarines. Right, ready to pound on him, which he's doing right now. Look at them. He's got air interceptors right over the top of his land, right over the top of his sea. Doing quite a marvellous job. Making sure that the surfing making sure that the air don't do anything stupid, and making sure that his sea doesn't do anything stupid to lose this little fight in the top right hand corner. Because he really needs to every unit that he needs really needs to stay alive. So we've chosen actually just about averaging more mass a second than Rock. Brock's trying to play catch up. Chosen does have the T3 sonar. You can clearly see that in the middle of There it is, T3 sonar moving along with his sea, being protected by his sea. So that's a useful thing for Chosen. If we have a look at the Chosen view, obviously Chosen's currently getting assaulted down the right hand side by rhinos, flak and mantises, doing the job that they want to do. This is why people build walls. As you can look, the point defence isn't really getting battered that much. But the walls around them are taking a lot more damage. So point defence only has about 2,000 health. Point defence only has 1,500 health. The wall has 4,000 health. That wall, which was currently taking the brunt of the impact to try and kill that point defence, took well over 3,000. More than enough to kill a point defence, pretty much. So now, Chosen has to think of a way of how to be able to protect himself against this nice attack of rhino tanks and mantises, along with artillery and flak and sky slammers, to stop Rock from being able to kaput his entire mass income.
Commander under attack.
And the only way Chosen can think of doing that is bring my ACU out and start overcharging, which is good, which is a very good idea, because he's also got shields, the bastard mobile shields of the Aeon, which everyone hates because they're just the biggest pain in the ass to try and kill an ACU if they're covered with them, because they do have the highest shield health in the entire game for their tech level. UEF have a bigger shield range but take less damage, but they're more mobile. But Aeon do actually fly over the sea, so that's even better for Aeon. If we have a look global map wise, it's still 50-50 again, as we can clearly see. Rock controls the top half, Chosen controls the bottom half. Pretty much staying the same as normal, as we expected. But what can we see difference? We've got hoverbots. Hoverbots are currently assaulting the Tagrock's current mass supply. Now Tagrock will lose out on 4 mass here if he's able to kill these without the rhinos coming into play. And he's got quite a few rhinos coming to assist him to kill these blazers. But clearly, being stuck behind a hill does not help the situation of killing the blazers. But what does help the situation of killing destroyers is gunships. The good old T1 gunships that are now destroying the destroyers everywhere. So basically, gunships at Aurora. That's what we call them. Look, Rock is now, since Rock failed the T1, the T2 assault with rhinos, he's now reverted to the Mantis attack. Obviously, the Mantises are the biggest pain in the asses. That looks like spiders on wheels. But obviously, Chosen knows this, and Chosen's getting gunships in the way. So obviously, gunships will slowly destroy the Mantises without a fight. So that's going to be quite an easy kill by the Mantises, by the gunships. Obviously, look, if we have a look at the Rock's scene, he's now got 7 destroyers in play. He's got 1 currently chasing down a cruiser and a heavily battered destroyer, and he's got the other 6 chasing down 2 cruisers and a sub hunter. So pretty much even Stevens now, 50-50. Rock has the more mass income at the moment. So it's actually changed from Chosen having the mass to Rock having the mass. So not much difference like it was at the beginning. There isn't much difference in the mass income anymore, but it's enough for Chosen to start seriously thinking how to combat the destroyers, because he's slowly losing destroyers to these destroyers. As we can clearly see, we've got destroyers hitting destroyers, so it's quite a good big sea fight going into play. We've even got 2 shields that are currently assisting the destroyers from not taking as much damage as they want to. If we have a look at Rock's main base, he's currently upgrading his ACU. Let's have a look what this upgrade is. He's got stealth. Rock's upgraded his ACU have stealth generator on his back. He's also going to build T2 power generators. Obviously, he needs more T2 power generators because he's actually losing mass quite he's actually losing power quite nicely. But he is gaining the edge in the fight of sea. Slowly but surely he's gaining the edge. As we can have a look at the overall map, look at all this wreckage in the water. It's like the Titanic and the ship called Wreck on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's carnage, it's pure carnage. So obviously Carnage is now in getting involved in Supreme Commander quite nicely. But we've also got a small Aurora force to protect it from any current assault that Rock will provide. He's also now currently putting mass storage around all of his T2 mass extractors. because he wants to keep them. He wants more mass. He's a greedy bastard. But he does have T2 air. Oh, he's going T2 air. He's also still going to be doing T1 air as well. So this is going to be this is turning out to be a very, very interesting game of pros v pros. Obviously, this is what we want to see more often. So obviously, Chosen's gone for the approach of building multiple naval factories, not just one, and heavily assisting it. While Rock has done for the I'm going to build one and build more. I'm going to heavily assist it with a shitload of engineers. If we have a look at the engineer force currently providing Rock with its capability of building, he's got 3 T2 engineers and he's got 47 T1. That's quite a lot of build power for a naval factory. That's probably the only reason why he's able to do what he do. But he's also got torpedo bombers in the air, capable of inflicting heavy damage to any sea that Chosen actually has now. As we can see, we've got 1 destroyer is down. He's got 4 more destroyers currently in heavy assault. Make that 3. He's got 1 currently laying back. So that's pretty much quite an easy even Stevens fight. 1 of the destroyers are down, so Rock is not even macroing his sea, but Chosen is. But Chosen's came and done a snipe. I've got a destroyer and a sub hunter, and I'm going to put him right through the middle of your destroyer force. So let's see how this plays out. So it's 50-50. We've got Rhinos, which are currently being assaulted by a cruiser, which can actually shoot. Which can't actually shoot anymore because we've got 2 destroyers that just quickly took it out, no problem at all. So that didn't last long. As we can clearly see in the background, Rock is now started to attack the T2 land factory that he currently has on the left hand side of his base. There we go. Rock also has torpedo bombers in the air. So now this is becoming quite an increasing 50-50 fight. So basically, what can happen now is either one gets all supremacy over sea, which doesn't seem likely at the moment in time, because we've got Rhinos currently assaulting the bottom left hand corner but going straight past them because the destroyers want to do the damage in the point defence rather than the Rhinos. But he's also got torpedo bombers doing excessive amount of damage on the sea factory, so that's quite well. Chosen is now down to 2. Chosen is now down to 2 normal ones and 1 HQ. If we have a look at the overall map control, Rock is dwindling ahead in mass. He's now got about 25 mass income a second more than Chosen, which is quite a lot, as everyone knows who plays the game. But Rock is now starting to try and camp his units in his base, obviously to be able to give the bigger assault push to Chosen. But Chosen is going to start pushing some Auroras down the right hand side of the map, obviously because he needs to do something now. It's kind of going on a bit too long at the moment. So Chosen needs to come up with some new tactics to try and kill Rock. As we are now in the 40th minute, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that none of them have actually gone for a nuke yet. But because pretty much this is close encounters fight, Nukes ain't really that possible on OTS if you're in a heavy constant attack of both naval and sea and air, as well as land. So basically, this has turned out to be quite a decent fight. Obviously, pros v pros, we like to see good fights. If there weren't pros, we hate fights. We want them the best fights in the entire world. If you're not going to give us a fight, we don't want to watch it, because there's no chance of you being a pro. Really, is there? So basically, what is currently happening now is Rock is currently assaulting them at the top hand side of the map with his destroyer force. So this is going to be, there we go, we've got 5 destroyers currently being attached with the 6th destroyer, and he's got 2 crews in the background, which he clearly can outrange any cruiser that he sees. So that's not a bad idea. He's also got a stealth boat involving him there. So the stealth boat is going to do whatever he wants them to do. So now, but Chosen's got other ideas, saying I've got more units than you. I can afford to do this assault. I've got 3 destroyers coming up from your behind. Rock's like that. No, you don't. You don't have anything coming up my behind because I've got my destroyers. As we can clearly see, his entire sea force that was just currently on the other side of the map at the moment is now defending his main base. So he's just said, yep, I seen you from a mile away. Nothing you can do about it. Better run away before you all get battered and you all get destroyed. Which he's doing quite well. He's actually harassing Chosen to run away. He's already lost 1 destroyer. One's heavily damaged and the other one is not a bit damaged, but it's still quite a bad damage. It can take about a couple of hits, but it's not that really much of any use. That, on the other hand, is just going to be used as cannon fodder. As it's on fire, you can clearly see it's on fire. It's going to be cannon fodder now. Obviously, Chosen is going T3 mass extractor in his base. Obviously, he needs a mass advantage. He's now got the mass advantage over Rock, about 10 mass a second, so Rock doesn't seem to be doing much in the way of countering that. But that's not a problem. We know that these two are pros. We know that they know what they're doing. So it's not really a problem. Rock's just going to keep harassing them as much as he can. As we can clearly see, we've got a hover bot currently scaling the mountains of Everest. Why and how on earth is he scaling the mountains of Everest is the other idea. He needs to get his brain checked by Chosen somehow. That's quite a nice little mountains of Everest climb. Don't know why he does that, but he just does. As we can see, still 50-50 map control. Obviously with map control, here comes the punishing part. You've got 10 destroyers raining hell upon all your units. Is there anything you can do? Yes, you shield your units like hell. There's just a few T1 interceptors, as you can see, are sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Because Chosen is now going, looks like Raz on his ACU. Let's just double check that quickly. Yep, Chosen's got Raz, so now Chosen has a big advantage over Rock. With Raz, it's an advanced resort, which gives him about 20 plus mass a second, and if he goes for the advanced resources allocation system, that's about 35 mass a second. That's an even bigger advantage that Rock doesn't have, which Rock needs to have to be able to combat this. There you go, 18 mass a second, and if it goes for the advantage, it's 36. So that's an equivalent to a T3 mass extractor, and the income of that on the power is equivalent to just over 2 T3 power plants. So big advantage. Raz takes quite a lot of resources out of you, but it's an advantage you need to get, and if you get it early enough, Obviously in this game, if you get it late enough, it can be the decider. If we have a look now, Rock is now decided to get his second naval factory online. Obviously he's going for a HQ. He's not going for a HQ because it's useless and you're wasting mass for no apparent reason. So he's not really bothered. But pretty much he's now starting to assault Chosen's naval superiority. Obviously in the past it's been 50-50. One's taken damage, the other one's recuperated, pushed him back. The one's being pushed back has recuperated and pushed the Rock back. So it's pretty even Stevens on the sea at the moment. But looking at this force, it might be the difference against the winner and the loser of the fight. So let's have a look elsewhere in the map. That small Rhino force that you saw down in the bottom left hand side of the map currently just made his way, not very much, because he got walled off. Look at the nice little excellent partition by Chosen. Saying, Rock, you come anywhere near me, you're gonna die. So Rock's just went, okay, I'm not gonna go anywhere near your partitioned wall. So that's good for Chosen. There we go. That's what a T1 wall looks like. A big brick of concrete, basically. But the Rhinos are back on the move. If we have a look, we've got a Blaze currently assaulting a T2 mass extractor. Oh no! God help the T2 mass extractor, it's gonna die soon. Oh dear. But wait there, Chosen's gonna lose all of his sea soon. Look at the submarine hunters, look at the destroyers, look at the carnage on the sea. As you can clearly see, it's proper carnage. Destroyers, submarines, cruisers, everything's getting attacked into this. Shields, auroras, flak, everything is in this attack. It's an all-out attack by Chosen. It's an all-out defense by Chosen. It's an all-out attack by Rock. But you can see the carnage of the sea fight over. Not as much now because it's been reclaimed over the entirety of the game, which has been 50 minutes, may I add. So this is quite a long game for both players. Obviously, they want a quick fix of this game. Someone wants to make the best decisive attack and finish both players off. Either Rock wants to do that with Chosen, or Chosen wants to do that with Rock. We will find out very soon, because I do believe we've got bricks. We've got a T3 HQ of Siren. Look for it. 6 big palanques of doing nothing. Things like a spider's looks like a spider just died, and it's shitting out bricks. Oh, there it is shitting out bricks, because that's what they're called, bricks. So a bit of humour in the cast. As we can see, that Blaze is now being killed. So not a problem anymore. As we can see, Chosen has lost quite a bit of sea. There's three submarines. There's 4 destroyers and a couple of cruisers in that wreckage at the moment. But the wreckage is getting bigger. Auroras, destroyers, even other destroyers just gone down in the right hand corner of the map. This is even better. Rock has got Chosen pinned to a corner. This is what we want to see. We want to see fights like this. Waiting 50 minutes to have a fight like this. This is what we want. But no one cares. We want fights like this. We want the pros to play like this every single game. We don't want any of the turtling. We don't want turtles. Turtles belongs in zoos. Supreme Commander is for all-out war. That's why it's called Supreme Commander. All-out war and destruction and devastation in the entirety of the game. Land, sea and air destruction. Pure supreme destruction. Obviously people whinge about this game being too hard to play. What do you expect? The entire scale of the RTS is very, very mint. It's very well thought out. It's all real live strategy. Everything's calculated every second. It's calculated every second. It's done every second. It's there. It's absolutely mint. As we can have a look, the sea is currently being destroyed by the cruisers. Obviously we've got torpedo bombers in play. As we can have a look, we've got cruisers in the background of Cybran, just over the top left hand corner. We've got, what? Oh no! Rock's entire sea support is going to get absolutely battered. Because you know why? We've got the Tempest. Chosen has actually managed to fend off enough of Rock's attack to spam a Tempest. So now Rock is in real danger of losing this. The Tempest is is not very hard to kill. You've got very little support, which, well, Rock does have because he's launched it all into the attack. As you can see, he's got torpedo bombers trying to bomb the shit out of the Tempest. But Chosen has got shields protecting left, right, centre and behind. 360-degree view of the Tempest. Just looking at the Tempest, it's only doing small gunfights, but look. There's only one ship firing because the rest have been blown up. This is just one big massive shipwreck. There we go. We've got 3 submarines that are currently trying to kill the Tempest. It's not happening fast. The Tempest is surviving with 20,000 HP. It's not long now before Rock does get obliterated. Oh, by the way, that's just named my clan. As we can have a look, we've still got T1 gunships circling around the game with all the T1. So obviously T1 still isn't useless in the game, even though it's 52 minutes in. We still have T1. Planes, gunships, everything. So yeah, still working well. We've got bricks into circulation now. Literally shitting bricks with ugly lights on top of the reds, so we're not bothered about that anymore. What we are bothered about is this Tempest. It's already got 23 kills. Looks like it's already been vetted twice. So it's got automatic vet twice. So it's going to be even more hard to kill because it's veterancy. Ups its life, and while upping its life, it also gives it more regeneration per second. Looking at that, it's about 18 HP a second regeneration. So by the time that hits Rock, that's going to be pretty much at full health again with 2-star veterancy. So it's not going to be good for Rock. Rock needs to come up with a way of somehow bombarding the Tempest without even sacrificing too many of his units. Bye bye brick. So our brick has just been killed. Obviously Chosen is seeing the awesomeness of the Tempest. He's going for the Galactic Colossus, so obviously he wants to own Rock via land as well. So pretty much one shot kill by the Tempest on destroyers without them even hitting him. This is going to be quite hard. Look, submarine hunters aren't even anywhere near the Tempest and they're getting killed. That's how overpowered this Tempest is. See, it's already recuperated over half its health back. And it's now bombarding bricks. So after shitting the bricks out, they're currently being bombarded by the Tempest. There we go, another shot. That's just took over 8,000 health off a brick in one shot. That's pretty overpowered, even for the Tempest. Look at it, and it missed wildly there. So obviously the Tempest isn't perfect. It can still do the damage, but oh, here we go. It may do the damage of the bricks, but this will certainly kill the bricks. Chosen's got the Galactic Colossus up after having 35 minutes of this game. Chosen has started to provide the edge, which eventually had to happen. And he's also got engineers reclaim the entire Sea Cove wreckage that used to be Chosen's Tagrock's land. See, obviously Tagrock wants to try and stop the advantage of their destroyers and somehow force his destroyers in without being overly supremacied by the Tempest's gun, which is another feat in itself as well. Obviously, here comes the Galactic Colossus. He's currently doing a nice little spindle. Obviously, he's been to Ballerina, the Galactic Colossus, so the Ballerina needs to do something else. So obviously the ballerinas have said, Galactic Colossus, you can fuck off, you're too big, you're too ugly, and you're too stupid to be able to dance with us. Go start dancing with the Cyberns. And long behold, the Cybern are now going to start to be danced with. So the Galactic Colossus is currently walking away. Look at that movement. Look at it. Looks like a big fucking woman, doesn't it? The woman on the Galactic Colossus. That's what it is. But here we go. The Tempest is currently shooting at hills. So obviously the Tempest wants to try and level hills now. Not the best idea. Not the best idea in the world at all. But Rock needs to come up with a way of destroying the Tempest. The only way to destroy a fully veteran Tempest, and it's, as I said, before it even touches Rock's base, it's going to be full health. So the only way to destroy a fully grown Tempest is either with a spider up close, or a megalith just pointing its head out to sea. That's the only way, or T3, or about 10 T3 bombers constantly flying over with protection. But both players don't even have T3 bombers. Just to put the to say you're screwed in the game, as good old Mr. Brackman does. Chosen is now currently building a second Tempest, and it's over halfway done. So obviously soon, Chosen will not only gain the advantage in the air, over the land and sea. Obviously he's lost the air advantage, but he doesn't give a shit because he's got Tempests. So not only will he gain the advantage over land and sea, he doesn't need air. So he doesn't need to do anything on there. So it's going to be quite interesting now, as the Tempest now starts pushing forward. As we can see, we've got the Galactic Colossus now causing hell around Tagrock's base. There goes his forward base. So Tagrock now has no forward base on the right hand side. As we can see, the Galactic Colossus is currently being bombarded by T2 bombers, but obviously Cyber and T2 bombers aren't the most effective bombers in the entire game. Clearly. So the Galactic Colossus has now decided, I've had enough with the land. I want to go and spend some time in the sea. Which he is. So